Channel. So today we are going to study part 2 of lesson number 1 class 8, and the name of the lesson is crop production and management. Okay, so let's start our class. So in the last class we have studied about the 3 steps till adding manure and fertilizers of agricultural practices. So in the last video we studied about the preparation of soil, the sowing and adding manure and fertilizers. So in today's class we are going to study the rest steps that is involved in the production of crops or growing of crops. So let's start. The first one is irrigation. Okay, so what is irrigation? The process of supplying of water to the crop, okay, at different intervals of time is known as irrigation. Understand? Now we all know that irrigation is very important. Water is very important for the crop, for the proper growth and development of our crop. Okay, now the question is that why irrigation is essential? Why? Because the plants, they contain 90% of water, and which is needed for the proper growth and development of the crop. Second thing is that when roots absorb water, along with the water, the nutrients are dissolved, the minerals are dissolved in that. So the dissolved form of minerals and the nutrients are then supplied or carried by the roots and transfer it to the all parts of the plants. And after that, these nutrients, we all know that these nutrients are very essential for the growth and development of the crop. So they are transferring or they are transferred along with the water to the different parts of the plant. Next is that if we will not irrigate our crop, then the seeds are dried. Okay, and in the dry condition the seed does not able to germinate. That is why irrigation is important. Okay, and water also protect our crop from the frost and hot air currents. Now the second thing is that the water frequency and time at which we have to give or provide water to our crop, it depends on some conditions. Okay, so the time and frequency of irrigation depends upon the variety of crops, like what type of crop we are growing, the crop that will need more amount of water or the crop which you need less amount of water. Okay, so the variety of crop. The second is type of soil, what type of soil it is. Okay, now the third one is the season. As you know, this in the summers the temperature is very high. Okay, so that time the rate of evaporation also increases, so we have to provide water to the crop many a times. Okay, and we have to give in large amount, so the more water is needed in the summer season. Okay, so the time and frequency of irrigation depends on three things: the variety of crop, second the type of soil, and the third is the season. Okay, now second is the sources of irrigation. So the sources of irrigation are well, tube well, dams, ponds, canals, rivers and lakes. These are the sources of irrigation from where we get water. Okay, and after that we will provide this water to our crop. Okay, now what are the methods of irrigation? So the first one is traditional methods of irrigation. Traditional means the method which is used in our ancient time. Okay, so we all know what are the sources of water: wells, lakes and canals. So the water available in these sources is lifted up by different methods in different regions. Okay, and after that we will take it to the fields. Now in these methods human labor and cattle is used. So these methods are cheaper but less efficient. Now, what are the different ways of irrigation? The traditional ways of irrigations are mode, the first one, second is chain pump, third one is dhikli, and the fourth one is rahat. Okay, in some method the pump is used. Now, the pumps are used to lift the water from the canals, from the well. Okay, so the pumps are used in some of the methods, and to run these pumps we need diesel, biogas, electricity and solar energy. Okay, so in some methods we need pump, and to run the pumps the diesel, biogas, electricity and solar energy is used. The second is modern methods of irrigation. So in modern method of irrigation there are two systems. The first one is sprinkler system. Now in sprinkler system, what is there? The sprinkler system has the perpendicular pipes, okay, and the perpendicular pipes has nozzles, rotating nozzles on the top, that is joined to the main pipeline at regular intervals. Okay, and the water flows through these pipeline, the main pipeline, the water flow under very high pressure, and it escapes from the rotating nozzles and sprinkles on the crop like a rain. Understand? So the modern method of irrigation, the first one is sprinkler system. The water sprinkles in the form of a rain on our crop. Now this system is best from for the places where the land is uneven, and second, the sufficient water is not available. Understand? Now the second system is drip system. As the name suggests, drip means the water is flowing, or the water is coming from the pipe in the form of drops. Okay, in this method or in this system, the pipelines are there, and at the regular intervals there are some holes from where the water is coming in the form of drops that falls directly just at the position of the roots of the crop. Now this system is very efficient or is very important where the availability of water is very poor, so there is no wastage of water at all. So at that places we use drip system. Okay, the drip system method of irrigation. Now the drip system is the best technique of watering for the fruit plants, gardens and trees. Understand? So this is our irrigation. Now the next one is, how does over irrigation harmful for crop production? Now we will know that irrigation is very important for our crop, for the proper growth and development of the crop. Now if we over irrigate, then what will happen? Now we all know that the over uses of anything is harmful. So here the over irrigation is also very harmful. Okay, if the water logging is occurred in our field, then what will happen? That seeds will not able to germinate properly. Why? Because they will not get sufficient air to respire, as well as the roots are also not able to grow properly due to the lack of proper soil aeration. Third thing is that because of the extra amount of water present in the field, what will happen? The more water will evaporate, and the more water evaporates, that leads to the accumulation of salt, which damages the soil fertility. Okay, now the third point is that if the extra amount of water is present in our crop, then the roots will not able to go deep into the soil, so the plants are not able to get full nutrients from the soil, and also the roots are unable to anchor the plants properly. So if the strong winds happen there, then the crop can easily get damaged by that. Understand? So the proper irrigation is very important for the proper growth and development of the crop. Okay, so we should know when and in what amount we have to give water to our crop, at what time and in what amount we should irrigate our crop. Understand? Now the next is the fifth point in the process of growing crop is protection from weeds. Now weeds, what is weeds? Weeds are the unwanted or undesirable plants that grow naturally with our main crop. So these undesirable plants are known as weeds. And the process of removal of weeds is known as weeding. The third thing is that the chemicals which is used to kill the weeds are known as weedicides. Now the question is, why is weeding necessary? Okay, why is the removal of weeds is very necessary? Why? Because the weeds that grow along with the main crop, they compete with our main crop for the space, light, water and nutrients. So it is very important to remove these weeds, because if we will not remove that weeds, what will happen, that they will compete with the main crop, and they will get the space, light, water and nutrients. That is very important for our main crop to grow well. Okay, if these things will distributed among these two things, then our crop will lack of that. Okay, and we will not get that much amount of yield. Next is that in the process of harvesting means cutting down of crops when it is mature. Okay, so when we cut our crop, then along with that these weeds also cut, and some weeds are very poisonous for animals and human beings. So we have to cut or remove these weeds before our crop matures or before producing flowers and maturing process. Okay, so it is very necessary to remove weeds from our main crop. Now, how do farmers remove weeds? So farmers remove weeds by the process of tiling. The first one is to uprooting and kill weeds. Now the tiling is done before sowing of crops. Okay. Second is that we remove the seeds manually using the tool which is known as khurpi. Okay, with the help of khurpi we just uproot them and cut them close to the ground. Third thing, spraying weedicides. Weedicides are the chemicals that we used to kill the weeds. Okay, but these chemicals will not damage our crops. Okay, so by spraying weedicide we can remove weeds from our field. And the example of weeds are 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. The short form is 2,4-D. Another example is naphthalene acetic acid and atrazine. Okay, so this way we can use, or we can, sorry, the 3 ways we can use to remove the weeds from our main crop. The next step is harvesting. Harvesting means cutting of crop after it matures. This process is known as harvesting. Like for example, cereal crop usually take 3 to 4 months to mature. So after 3 to 4 months, when it will mature, then we will cut our crop. Okay. And in India, many festivals are celebrated. So some festivals are associated with harvesting, which are Pongal, Baisakhi, Holi, Diwali, and Bihu, and etc. Okay, so harvesting can be done manually using the sickle and also by the machine, which is called harvester. Okay, the picture you can see here, the lady is cutting the crop manually with the help of the sickle. Okay, now the next one is after harvesting, what will happen? The first one is separating chaff from grain can be done through threshing and winnowing. Now what is threshing and what is winnowing? So threshing is the process of separating the chaff from the grain. Okay, in this process what will happen? We beat the crop against a stone or wooden bar. Okay, and because of the force, the grains will fall down from the stalk. Okay, so after threshing, winnowing process will occur. Now in winnowing process, we just remove the husk from the seeds by blowing air through it. Now in this process, we all know that the husk is lighter, so it will fly away. And the seeds which is heavier, they will fall down, and in this process, or with the help of this process, we can separate our grains from the husk. Okay, now the third method is that there's a machine which is called combine, which works as a harvester as well as thresher. So with the help of that machine, we will able to remove the grains, or we will able to remove the grains from the shed. Okay, now the last step is storage. So after harvesting, after separating the grains, the main task, the important task is to store. Now, if we want to store our crop grains for the longer time, then they should be safe from the moisture, insects, rats, and microorganisms. Now, the question is, how are grains protected from pests, bacteria, and fungi? So, the first thing is that the seeds or the grains should be dry in the sun to reduce the moisture. Okay, and if our yield is at the small scale, okay, the production is at small scale, then the grains are stored in jute bags or metallic bins. And if the production is in the large scale, then they should be kept in silos and granaries. Now the silos is just the tanks which is used for the large scale storage. Okay, you can see in the first picture, these are silos which is used to store the grains at the large level. Okay, and in the next picture there are granaries. This is the granary. Granary is basically a storehouse where we just store our production. Okay, where we just store our production, or we can see the grains. Okay, so they protect the grains from pest and insect. Now this next thing is that we can use neem leaves. Okay, the neem leaves are used at home to protect food grains from the pest mainly. And in big godowns, the chemical treatments are done to protect the large quantities of grain. Okay, so this is the things that how can we store our grain. Okay, or how can we protect our grain from the pest, bacteria, and fungi and the moisture. Now the second thing is that what precautions should be taken during storage of grains. The first thing is that grains should be dried properly. If they will not dry properly, if they will have the moisture, then there are many or there are more chances of rotting our grains. Okay, the grains will rot very easily if the moisture is present. Next thing is that they should be stored in completely dry gunny bags. There should not be any moisture present in the gunny bags. Okay, so they should be stored in completely dry gunny bags. Next is thing that the bag should be kept in a place which is completely moisture free. Okay, understand? Next is storage area should be well ventilated. Okay, and in the larger godowns, care should be taken that chemicals used to repel and kill insects and rats do not contaminate food grain. So in large godowns, the chemicals are used to kill or to repel the insects and rats so that they will not contaminate food grains. Understand? So this is our last step of agriculture practices. Okay. Now the next topic is the last topic of this lesson is food from animals. So the rearing of animals at large scale to obtain food from them, then this is known as animal husbandry. Okay, so what is animal husbandry? The animal husbandry is the process of rearing the animals at large scale to obtain food from them. Now, the animal husbandry includes taking care of animals, breeding them, and domesticating them for different purposes such as meat, wool, milk, eggs, honey, and etc. Okay, now the types of animal husbandry which is popular in India are beekeeping or apiculture, cattle farming, dairy farming, fish farming or aquaculture, poultry farming, sheep farming. Okay, now the next thing is breeding. So breeding is the process where we mate two animals which are having superior characters. Okay, and to create a new breed which have the superior characters of both the animals. Okay, like for example, if we are mating two cows, okay, so they are these two cows are of different breeds. The first cow that produce a large amount of milk, and the second cow which is of different breed have high resistance to disease. Now both the cows have different and very important qualities. If we breed or if we mate these two cows, then the new offspring will have both the characters of these two cows. Okay, so the breeding is very important. The breeding is very important to get the superior characters, and it is more useful to us than its parents. Now, breeding can be of two types. The first one is inbreeding and the second is outbreeding. Okay, now inbreeding is that in the inbreeding process we are mating two animals of same breed. Okay, and in outbreeding we are mating two animals of different breeds. This is known as outbreeding. Like in the next slide, the breeding are of two types, inbreeding and second is outbreeding. Inbreeding is when we mate superior animals of the same breed. This is known as inbreeding. Outbreeding is when we make animals of different breeds, it is called outbreeding. Now, outbreeding is of three types: outcrossing, crossbreeding, and interspecific hybridization, that you will study in the next higher class. Okay, so this is the last topic of our lesson. Now the lesson is complete, so please all of you, I'm requested that revise all the notes of the first part and the second part. Note down these notes and understand it very clearly, and if you are not able to understand any of the point or any of the term, you are not getting it, then please let me know. Okay, so be safe at your home and be healthy also, because it is very important, and please utilize this time very very efficiently, please, because this time is very precious for you all, and you can utilize it very I can say that very carefully. You can utilize this time. You can enhance your qualities, you can enhance your knowledge at this time, you can enhance your hobbies also and your talents. So you have your time, and along with that, please study and please revise what I am teaching to you. Okay, so thank you so much for watching my video, and thank you. Bye bye.